the MVP race was between, Shea and Jokic. Are we going from Shea to Jokic now? Is Jokic the number one candidate for MVP this year? Again.
Oh man, honestly, for me right now, still Shea. I'm sorry, it's still
Okay.
Shea. Um, Shea's still doing amazing things offensively. He plays on both sides of the ball.
Hmm.
Um, his team, he's yo. I'm not saying Jokic is not the engine of his team because he clearly is the engine of this team. I am not
Yeah.
debating that at all. But in the same breath, Shea is the engine of his team as well. He's got
Yeah.
second round guys on his team. Chet's been out majority of the season. Hartenstein was out the first couple of the months of the season, so that should have compromised their defense a bit. That should have compromised what they were trying to do. But he kept this team as one of the better teams in the NBA. I think he's tied. Sorry, I think the OKC Thunder are tied for first with the Cleveland Cavaliers for best record in the whole league.
Okay. So they
So
caught Cleveland.
they caught Cleveland. So what I'm saying is like we have to respect that a bit. I think what the Thunder are 9 games ahead in the standings against up against the Nuggets. So there's still a little bit of breathing room
Oh,
between you know what I'm trying to say.
9 games.
So
Okay.
yeah, so there's a 9 game swing. So as well as the Denver Nuggets have been playing since January 1st, 2025, there's still 9 games behind OKC. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think this is where Denver should have been. Denver should be a top four team. They shouldn't have been down at 7-6. Like that's not them. With Jokic, they're a top four team. So I'm not surprised where they are right now. I would say this is where they're supposed to be based on the talent they have with Nikola Jokic, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair. I didn't realize the gap was so big between, the games. So when it comes to, MVP ladder, I gotta give it to Shea still as well, just because that's a big gap. Like number one, Cleveland started off what, 18-0, 17-0, something like that, 16-0,
Something like that. 50, oh,
right?
something like
I believe it was either Boston or OKC that gave them their first loss,
that.
but
Boston.
Boston did. But
Yeah,
OKC has given them an L as well, and if
true.
they end up, number one in the league, I think you give it to Shea, because that's very hard to do in the West. Um, have being up 9 games, you have that much of a spread in the West. That's impressive. That is impressive for sure.
Right, and I honestly, people are going to probably disagree with me, but I think
Hmm.
Nikola Jokic's supporting cast at least should be better than Shea's. Shea has a bunch of young guys who don't know who are
Fact.
still learning. They're learning on the fly right now. Like I
Hmm.
said, Chet not there. Hardenstein, like I said, missed the first couple of months. Like the Denver Nuggets, they have Jamal Murray who signed to a $200 million plus contract. So
Hmm.
that says he's supposed to be a good player. Michael
Yep.
Porter Jr. at the time when he signed his contract, that was a max contract. You know
Yep.
what I'm trying to say? Aaron Gordon, I think, signed close to a max. So you signed a lot of guys to close to or max deals. That's telling me that they are good basketball players. I
Yeah.
understand that maybe they weren't playing as well as their contract suggests, but like let's not act like these guys were not the pieces around Jokic to win an NBA championship. And that's why they didn't win a championship or get far as they probably wanted to last season because the guys around Nikola Jokic weren't doing their part. So like, come on, let's give Shea a little bit of respect. A lot of
Hmm.
young, like I said, a lot of young guys, injuries as well. You know, Caruso's been out, which is supposed to be one of their better defenders,
Yeah.
perimeter defenders. Not offensively, obviously, like you don't rely on him. Surprisingly enough, Jalen Williams has not really made that leap forward that you probably expected him to make, based on his projections and what we saw from him last season. So
Yeah.
Shea's kind of carrying this team a little bit more than people are giving him credit for, and I get it.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic at the same time is having a great season, elite season, averaging a triple double. Nuggets, if they didn't have him for the first half of the season, Nuggets are like tanking, bro. Like I totally understand that, but just because Jokic is doing what he's doing for his team and they're at where they're at, I think what Shea's done for his team is just a little bit more than what Jokic has done for his team.
Yeah.
And that's just how for me, for me. But I'm not mad at Jokic winning it though. I'm not mad. I just think I think it's Shea's time.
Yeah. No, that's a very valid point. Like when you pay the guys, you expect a certain outcome. You expect a winning team. So yeah, when you consider the fact that he's dealing with like a younger group of guys, he has to be more of a leader to those guys. He has to, you know, oh, no, like it's a lot more fixing up. Like you'd rather pick. It's easier to pick up from a 7-year-old than a 2-year-old. You know what I mean?
True,
The
true, true.
delegations are quite different. So, yeah, give it up to Shea. Give it up to him because it's hard to really do being young yourself and leading a young team. So, he's still my MVP for sure at this point in time, and he may finish like that because 9-game spread is quite a big spread, right?
Can 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 your mind be changed though? Like, is there anything Jokic can do that will change your mind that he's definitely or that he's MVP?
You'd have to close that gap. You'd have to close that
Mm.
gap. You'd have to close that gap.
Like so, and but then I guess that relies on Shea regressing. So because
Yeah,
I think OKC is just gonna keep going like straight, like
exactly.
they're gonna keep going like this. I don't think they're gonna
Yeah,
plateau and then like no, they're
yeah.
gonna
If their health is intact, they'll remain where they are. They'll remain.
yeah. Well, I think I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite because I think at the beginning of the season when Denver Nuggets were 6th and 7th, I think I said that Jokic needs to be like top three for me to like. But like at the same time too, I guess I didn't like anticipate the gap to be as wide as it is. I didn't
Yeah,
expect Shea to be playing. I think Shea's averaging 33 points on 53% shooting
yeah,
for a guard, man. That's
yeah,
amazing, man. Like, come on, guys.
yeah.
That's like Michael Jordan type efficiency. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
So yeah, like I'm sorry, like it's got to
And
be
and
Shea, but
and and career highs for rebounds, assists, and blocks.
yeah.
So
So
yeah, so he's doing on the defensive side too,
facts,
which
facts.
is it should be 50-50 consideration, at least a 30.